Hello, everybody. I'm Nina Soden, urban fantasy author of the Blood Angel series and the Sector C series. And today I am very excited to be interviewing Kristen Collins, author of Monsters Under the Bed. Kristen is a native Texan. She is a part-time working mother, housewife, as well as a lupus warrior. Thanks to the encouragement of her family and friends, she has found a passion in writing paranormal romance books, and we are all thankful for that. She likes to explore new types of characters like boogeymen and sandmen, and angels are also a part of her obsession. She creates art journals that are cross-generational from 13 to 60 years young, and her goal is to reach people that just need a little extra feel-good in their lives. So without further ado, tell us a little bit more about you.
I suffer from lupus, and that makes me a loopy warrior. And so I fight an invisible illness. And I got really ill about 3 years ago now. And I figured there had to be more to my life. And so I started putting pen to paper and writing these wonderful characters that I just fell in love with. And my writing career started from there. And I just, being in Texas and with the heat and I'm being stuck inside because the sun is your enemy when you have lupus. And so, I have three wonderful children. I have a wonderful husband. He is a Marine veteran, and he's very supportive. He's just great to me. And I just enjoy writing and reading and art. And we homeschool our kids full time now. And so they get an education at home, and which is great. And they're thriving with it. And I love writing. Even though I work, I stay up late writing. I do these nano camps, and I've met all these wonderful authors. So, it's a wonderful community.
So you started writing about 3 years ago, but when did you first really consider yourself a writer or an author?
I think when I got my first horrible review, I felt like that solidified me as an author.
Yes. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. So what inspired your first book, and what was it? What is it called, and what is it? What's it about?
The very first book I wrote was in my hybrid love anthology, A Sandman's Forbidden Love. And it's about a woman named Sable, who's kind of the outcast in the Sandman realm. And she goes to train this young Sandman who kind of has PTSD in the human realm. She doesn't want to wander there. Some bad things that happened to her. She had a bad experience. So she goes along training her, and they run into some boogeymen torturing a child, and because they feed off of fear. And a fight ensues, and I don't really want to give it away, but she ends up in the boogeyman realm. And she's had some pretty bad experiences herself. But the boogeyman that kidnapped her is not exactly what he seems. And some love ensues, a little bit of a love-hate relationship, some fighting back and forth, a lot of forbiddenness in there. And it's a pretty good love story with the epic action in it. But it was my first book, and a lot of authors say this, but it's really true. I dreamed it. It. And I just fell in love, and I don't know, it was like this urge, and I had to get it out. Like, I was just typing away like crazy. I wrote it within a month, the whole thing.
Wow.
And yeah, and every day, 12 hours a day, I was just working on. And at the time, I wasn't working because of my illness, but that's what I would just do all day, just work on the book. And Yeah, it was out within about a month.
That's amazing. Now, you don't edit yourself. Do you hire an editor? Is that, or do you do all of it your
Yes.
own?
No, I hire an editor. Her name is Suzette at My Right Hand VA. She's been my editor for the better part of 3 years now.
Nice.
She's amazing, just amazing. She is very thorough, and her development edits really help me with my stories. She's not afraid to call out a plot hole when she sees one.
That's awesome. That's exactly what you need from an editor. So tell me a little bit about your writing style. I mean, obviously with that book, you wrote 12 hours a day and you did it until the book was done and it took a month. But what is your typical writing style at this point? Now that you have kids at home that are schooling at home, what does your day look like as a writer?
So my day, I work typically at my regular job Monday through Thursday. So I'm at work all day long, from about 9 to 4. So when I get home in the afternoon, my husband does a lot of the schooling during the Monday through Thursday, and then I do language arts and stuff on Fridays.
Okay.
And then when we spend some family time together after with dinner and everything. But once those kids go to bed at 8 o'clock, I'm writing, and I'm up late, sometimes midnight. Sometimes I'm up early writing. Whatever I can crunch the time in. The weekends when I'm off, that is prime writing time. So, but it depends on the book. It could, if I'm really jiving with it, the storyline's just eating at me, I'm writing away. But then there's sometimes I'll hit little, I don't really want to say a writer's block, but I just need a break for a week or two. I'll have to walk away from a story and come back. And when I'm done with a book, I always take a month off at least before I start another one. I feel like that's really good. As an indie author, I don't have deadlines, say, unless I give myself one. But I really take my time, making sure the story is finished and thoroughly put out there. But I don't worry about book size. When the story's done, it's done. And I've learned, when I was a new indie author, that when you try to push those storylines, it didn't quite work. The story, you start to fall out of love with pushing it.
Yep. I know exactly what you mean. So you've been writing for 3 years. How many published books do you have right now?
16.
What? Are they novels? Are they short stories? Are they children's, young adult, adult? I mean, 16 in 3 years. I'm blown away right now.
Well, I just
Wow.
did the count recently. I didn't realize exactly how many I had published until somebody asked me. A reader had asked me, and I counted it, and they were pretty shocked too. But my stories, I have different book length size. I have quite a few novellas,
Yep.
but the majority are right around novel size.
So right around that 50,000 words.
40, sorry. 40, yes.
Okay, so they're most of them are considered novellas then. Okay, well,
Yes, yes.
that makes me feel a little bit better at how slow I write.
Well, I wouldn't feel bad because, I have author friends that spit out a book about every week, and they are full 60,000 plus word books. And like I said, when we feel like the story's done, it's done. But I wouldn't feel bad. I really strive to try to hit the 50 plus mark now.
Yeah.
I have the last book in the hybrid love anthology called Throne of Storms and Ashes, and it hit 60,000 words by the time I was done with it. And it was I would say, the first real big book I've ever written, and I was so proud of it. It's my favorite book I've written, and it's the only one that I guess you would consider then like a completely full length.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. I'm literally going to have to watch this interview over and over again because that blows me away. Your numbers just blow me away. So, is there a message in your novels that you want your readers to grasp? Is there something you're trying to get across to them?
I have realized that there's a common theme in all my stories that happen without me even realizing. But no matter how bad the situation is, there's always a happy ending.
Okay.
Whether it's through death or life, there's always a happy ending.
Okay.
But you just have to find it.
I like that. I like that. Something to look forward to. So, is there any new authors, either traditionally published or indie, that have just kind of like got your attention that you're really interested in, that you love to read? And also, who is your favorite author and why?
Oh, Elisa Moore is my favorite author with the Touch Saga. She is an indie author, and her books are gut wrenching. You just love to hate them, but you love the character so much. Her She's my absolute favorite. She really is. I fell in love with her Touch Saga series, and I reread it all the time. I've loaned my book out to so many friends, like, you gotta read this author. But yeah, that is definitely she's definitely my favorite. I have so many wonderful indie author friends. Kay Gala, her books are amazing. A lot of contemporary love stories. My fellow authors in the Children of Chaos, they write all these wonderful paranormal stories. And let's see, who else do I have? Oh, my cover designer is also an author, and she is amazing. Her stories are just so well written. She has a different writing style than me, and I just absolutely love it. Her name is Rachel Olson, and she's just so awesome.
So, outside of your family members, do you have a support system that supports your desire to be an author? And how did that come about?
So you make connections in the indie book world over the years, and I have made a lot of them. And Rachel, Suzette, and Kay Gala have been like my biggest support group through the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. They have been there for me, and I mean, I couldn't ask for better people. But I've met so many wonderful PAs and other authors. The Crazy Ink publishing house has amazing authors that have been really great friends to me. Erin Lee, she's just a wonderful part of the indie community, willing to help anybody get their feet up. When I first started, I met her out of the blue just by asking some questions, and she was just so awesome and helped me get on the right path and actually helped me steer away from some bad things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't do that, don't do that.
Yep.
Go this way.
That's always good to have that kind of advice. Learn from somebody else's mistakes before you have to make them yourself. So I think I know the answer to this next question just based on our conversation so far, but do you see writing as a career?
I do. I as an indie author, you don't make a lot, but that's not why I do it. Although that would be nice. But I I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I love it. I love all of it, and I just don't see myself stopping anytime soon. I have 5 books planned right now, and two my Elsewhere series. I have 2 in my Elsewhere series planned. 2 in my Untold series novelette, which is my Christian fiction little short stories that I write. I have a couple standalones that are getting ready to go as well. So, I mean, I
So
have quite a few series going.
Do you write under the same name no matter what genre you're in?
I do. I do have one story that I'm writing for the Perfectly Stated series that my online company is hosting. And I actually went with a pen name on that one because it was so much romance in it.
Okay.
It's definitely the strongest romance I've ever written.
Okay.
And that pen name was Sky Lolly.
Sky Lolly.
Hmm.
Very cool. So you are indie for all of your books currently, is that correct? Have you
Yes.
ever tried to traditionally publish, or do you see that as something you will ever do in the future?
I have never tried traditionally published because it's a really tough selection process. They really, from what I've seen, beginning my little author career, they all want full length novels. They don't want the short stories. And I like having the freedom to write whatever length story I want, write
Yeah.
whatever I want in that story as well. And I've really enjoyed that. And I don't think I'd leave it. I don't know. I
Okay.
think if maybe if it was a crazy book deal, but I don't like people having a say in what I write. I
I
like my
understand
freedom.
that. You like that independence. I get that totally. Tell me a little bit
Yes.
about your most recent book. What is it called? What is the genre? Give us a little, two-sentence pitch.
Monsters Under the Bed is from the Children of Chaos series. And you have 2 cents pitch. Oh, man. That's tough because I have a lot to say. um, a mysterious orphan child with supernatural abilities that she doesn't understand. And she catches the interest of the queen of the Sandman. And
Nice.
it goes from there.
So, if it were turned into a film, who could you see playing the lead character?
Oh, I haven't watched too many kid films these days. And I have kids, but
Yeah.
they that's tough. You know, if it was preteen, or I mean, like teenager, I would be a little bit better with picking a child to play my main character.
So it's very
I'm not
young child
familiar with.
then. So it's a very
Yeah,
young
she is
child.
10.
Okay.
She's 10, and let's see.
Did you
I know
see?
I have always dreamed of Jason Momoa playing some character in my one of my books.
Okay. That's awesome.
We all know Jason Momoa. Um, well, I think for the King Richard, I would love Henry Cavill to play. If I'm saying his name right, and the Queen would be, what is Wonder Woman's name?
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to come up with it, but yes,
I'm
I
horrible.
love her. I
Yeah,
love her. Okay.
I'm horrible with names of actors and
Yeah.
stuff. Awful.
So
For a child,
not one yet. Okay. So what advice would you give to a new writer? Anything?
oh my goodness. What I always tell new authors when I meet them, there's pretty much like a few steps I would take when writing.
Okay.
First off, just write the words. Don't
Mhm.
worry about if anybody's going to like them or not. Just
Yeah.
write all the words. As the most important thing. Write what comes to your mind. If for me, it's like a film in my head. I hear them, I see them, I yell at them. They
Yep.
yell at me. They throw tantrum. I mean, my husband thinks I'm crazy half the time,
I say that all the time. I say that
but
all the time. Yes.
I, you could just hear it and see it.
Yeah.
But just write the words, and then when you're done, reread it and fix whatever holes or issues you see in it, and then get an editor. And most importantly, always get an editor.
Yeah.
That if you want to have the best writing, an editor is the way to go,
Yep.
because editors see what you don't see. They're a second pair of eyes. Just like if you have a beta team, they see things you don't see. They could say, hey, that's really left unanswered. So I highly suggest that. And get a cover designer to do an amazing cover, and your formatting and stuff too. Those are like main top three things I would say.
Yeah.
But one more, make connections with other authors. I mean, seriously, if when I first started out, I didn't have a clue if I was doing anything right. I mean, I just wrote the story, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to explore the Facebook book world. And when I started navigating, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. But then I started making friends, and I started meeting all these other authors, and the indie authors were very encouraging, like, hey, just do this, and you got this, just release it,
Yeah.
And that helped building that encouragement up.
And 16 books later, you have like tons and tons of words out there for people to read. That is amazing. I'm just going to keep going back to that. I'm going to keep going back to that. That's awesome. So other than buy a book, read it, share a book, everything we would love to tell our readers, what do you want to let your readers know? What would you tell your readers?
Support the indie authors.
Yeah.
Support indie authors. The leaving a review for an indie author helps us to know if we're doing good. Yep. It really does, and it helps build us up to get to be seen by others. Every time you leave a review, it kind of gets put out there a little bit more. Yep. Every author's goal is to have at least 50 per book. And, keep reading. I really do. I hope they read my work. I hope they find other authors that I read and that I follow. Yeah. And I hope they enjoy it.
Yep, I love that. So what are you reading right now? Talking about reading.
I am currently reading Kay Galla's Sweet Dreams. Her book released before mine, actually, in August. So I just picked it up last night. So don't get me lying about it, because I've only gotten about a page in.
Okay, but you're starting it. That's awesome. Very cool. So I'd like to end all of my interviews with James Lipton's Inside the Actors Studio 10 questions. So these are questions you've not seen before, probably questions you've answered before, or some of them anyway. All I ask is that you answer quickly. Don't think too much on it. There is no wrong answer. No wrong answer. All right?
Okay.
You ready?
Okay.
What is your favorite word?
Happy.
What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
What turns you on?
Do what?
What turns you on?
Candlelight dinner.
What turns you off?
Wrestling.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Wrestling.
No, it's really up to you. Yeah, it's all good. Wrestling. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound noise? Rain.
Oh,
love
I like
sound
that.
of rain.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
Honking.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fork.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to try?
Art.
What profession would you not want to do?
Golfing.
Okay. And last question. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done, my child.
Nice. Okay, that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing all of your wealth of knowledge that you have gained over the last 3 years as a writer with my viewers. I will be sharing links to your books, links to all of your social media down in the description below. So if you are watching this video, make sure you check out her books and pick up her newest book, Monsters Under the Bed. All right, bye for now.
Thank you.